Thank you for tuning in to Crystal Healing. I'm your host, Crystal Heal. Today's gaudio is entitled, It's All About the Frequency That You Are Streaming. And of course, I'm sure as you've guessed by now, we're talking about frequency. Peace, India Neat. Peace, everyone that tuned in on today. Thank you for sharing your time with me. So we're going to be talking about frequency today, because truly it is all about the frequency. Now, it has been made apparent to me that we speak about raising our vibrations and we speak about changing frequencies, but we don't really go too much, or at least I haven't seen where we went too much into what frequency actually is and what it actually means. And like I said, it's come to my attention that a lot of people don't understand exactly, truly what the concept is. So on today, I will be delving a little bit deeper into frequency, what it means, and into some of the deeper aspects of it. So let's go ahead and jump right in. India Neat says, aren't you going to wait for people to come in? No, I don't do that, India, simply because whenever you're listening to the gaudio after the fact, it's a big pause for no reason whatsoever. So, boom. Angel, peace, Angel. You're at work. Peace, Miss Carolyn. Peace, everyone that tuned in. Mondrian, Parnell, Aristotle, peace, peace. Yes, I'm grateful to have you all here, Aristotle. So let's just jump right into this, because this whole frequency thing will answer a lot of questions for you. Now, I want to look at the picture that I have displayed before you, and I want to start by looking at the top picture. You see there at the top picture, you see the rainbow, and then you see the eye, and then you see that bar there. You see radio waves, it has microwaves, infrared, then the middle portion where it's the visible light, the rainbow, and then the ultraviolet, X-rays, and gamma rays. I want you to understand that when it has been said, Randall Patterson, thank you for joining in. Jalen Tommy, thank you for joining in. I want you to understand that when it's been said that light came from darkness, you see the black portion of that bar, that we translate that as darkness. Now, I want y'all to understand that just because it looks like darkness to you does not mean that there is nothing in it. Okay? So everything that you consider darkness or empty space or void or whatever term you may give it, just because you perceive it as such does not mean it is such. Okay? We only see approximately 1% of everything that is available to see. Now, let me help you understand what I just said. If you imagine an ocean full of water, because indeed this is a frequent sea, okay, that you're in. Now, it doesn't say frequent sea for a reason. For no reason, excuse me. Imagine a big ocean. Now imagine going to that ocean and taking a gallon pitcher and dipping it in the ocean. The water that you have in that gallon pitcher symbolizes the amount of waves that your senses actually process compared to what is actually available. So you really see, you're almost blind. Let me not say we or you, because I don't know your present condition. Some of you have upgraded yourselves to where you actually see more of the visual spectrum. But let's just say ordinary man, as he is born in this world, only sees 1% of all that is out there, or a gallon of the whole entire ocean, if you want to look at that way. Now, it is pivotal to understand that there is more out there than you can see. It is absolutely pivotal to understanding that. You ever heard the phrase, when hell freezes over? Have you ever heard that before? Peace, David Dinger, Amun Ra. Peace. You ever heard the phrase, when hell freezes over? Well, you see, this is the thing. All of that stuff we call darkness is spirit. What do I mean by spirit? I mean it's spirit in the sense that you can't perceive it. Now, it may be matter to some other being who has faculties that perceive those particular rays, but to regular humans on this realm, everything that you call darkness is really spirit, meaning it vibrates outside of what you are able to pick up on with your 5 senses. Okay? And so it is populated with beings, but you cannot see them. In as much as the ocean, when you look out at the ocean, it doesn't look like it's populated. But if you just dive a little bit deeper, you realize there's a whole world under there that you cannot see. So too in the ocean of frequency that is around you, it's populated with beings that you cannot see because your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, and your skin only picks up on 7 frequencies. This is why there are 7 continents. This is why there are 7 visible planets. This is why there are 7 notes on the musical scale. The 8th one is just an octave up. Okay? Understand, this is why you have 7 chakras, because you, and when I say you, I'm talking about man as he is born here. Again, I understand that a lot of y'all have upgraded and are beyond this level here. But for standard man, that's what I'm referring to when I say you. You have the 7 chakras, which give you the 7 colors, which give you the 7 notes, which give you the 7 shapes, which give you the 7 glands, you understand, which give you the 7 continents. But I implore you to understand that when you look out at the ocean, see, you see 7 continents because you've unfolded 7 aspects of yourself. This is what they talk about when they talk about the 7 heavens. Understand? Okay? But I want you to know that there are more colors than what you see in this rainbow before you. Yes, there are. There are more shapes than what you have been exposed to. There are more sounds out there than what you have been exposed to. Now, if you don't believe me, ask the dog. He can hear shit you cannot hear. If you don't believe me on the shapes, ask the dolphin. He can see things you cannot see. There are more things out there. Now, we always want to think of the animals as less evolved than us. But I want you to see that we have taken what is possible to us internally and we have externalized it. You see, the dolphin has still internally his ability to have sonar and those types of things. But because we don't use it internally, we have to recreate it externally to us. You understand? But we can regain those faculties again. Now, people who are called mediums or psychics or seers or sages or the knowers, prophets, things like that. These are people who have opened up what they call the third eye. Now, you all have heard of the third eye, the pineal gland. But what some may not understand is what this gland actually does as it expands the spectrum of what you can see here. Some of that blackness becomes light for you. You see, the real world is simply a world of waves. I want you to really grasp the concept that there is no such thing as color outside of your mind. There's no such thing as form outside of your mind. There's no such thing as gender outside of your mind. These are all constructs of the mind. The only thing that exists outside of your mind is waves and rays. They're either cosmic rays, gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet rays, infrareds, microwaves, radar waves, and broadcast band waves. You understand? You clothe these spirits or spiritual components, because all of that you consider that black portion on that middle bar there, not the rainbow, that's what you see. I'm talking about the black part that you call the void or space. or darkness, whatever you call it, that portion there is expanded, is decreased whenever you open your third eye. You see more. So that spirit is frozen over. You see hell. Didn't they say hell is like a lake, a burning fire? Well, I want you to understand what that represents. That represents the electric universe. The entire universe is filled with electric waves that you interpret and create this world. So indeed, you were never born in the world. The world was actually born within you. Now, without the function of your brain, see, your rainbow, the rainbow that is the sign of the covenant, is also a sign of your mind. Because without your mind, you would not be able to have that rainbow right there. You see, what your mind does is it freezes hell over. It turns spirit into matter. It turns that which is invisible into that which is visible. It turns the ocean of possibilities and the ocean of consciousness. It takes a portion of it and it freezes it into matter so that you can experience it and handle it and manipulate it and, experience what we call life. What we call life. So to answer the question, does color exist outside of your brain? The answer to that question is no, it does not. It's equivalent to asking the question, if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it, does it ever make a sound? No, it does not. Because it is your brain that interprets the signals, the waves, and turns it into hearing. It clothes the spirit with a sound. Yes. And no, color does not exist outside of the brain because your brain clothes the spirit with a color, depending on its vibration. It's simply a label. Okay, let me help you understand what I mean by that. You see, you have a name. You have a name. Your name is just like a color. When you look at an apple, a red apple, you see it has a red color. But the apple's not really red in the same way that you are not really whatever your name is. And I am not really Crystal. You see, let's imagine, for those who believe in this sorts of thing, let's imagine you was in your last life. You see, in my last life, my name was not Crystal. Does that mean in my last life, I was not me? Well, when you understand that you're not your name, then you realize that your name is simply something to identify the present ego, your present manifestation. My name might have been Sophie, my last life, but I was still me, wasn't I? Well, that lets me know I'm not Sophie and I'm not Crystal. I'm not Alexander. I'm none of those lives of whoever I would have been. Okay, that is something that has been stamped on me as a label in order to identify this particular manifestation in this particular time and in this particular space. So too, when you look at a red apple, I want you to understand that the apple is not red. It is simply a label. The color red is a label that your brain has put on the apple to identify its frequency. So you know that if the apple is red, that its frequency is at 700 nanometers. That's right. And if you see a violet flower, then you know that the flower is at 400 nanometers. And so anything that's at 400 nanometers, your brain stamps the color purple on it. That's right. Now, does that change the nanometers? See, if your brain isn't there, it's still vibrating at 400 nanometers. Now, let me help you understand that concept. Now, when you go inside of a hospital or any medical building, you will notice that a lot of times you have the registered nurses, they're wearing white. All of the registered nurses are wearing white. Then you'll see that the licensed practical nurses or licensed vocational nurses are wearing, say, blue, right? Then you see the CNAs or the nurses' assistants, they're all wearing yellow. and housekeeping's wearing green. Now, whenever these people leave outside of the hospital, are they still registered nurses and LPNs and housekeepings and nursing assistants? Yes, they are. But you see, the color code only applies inside the hospital. It is the hospital's way of identifying everybody with the same profession. So it makes all of the registered nurses wear white. Now, you may see the registered nurse at Walmart, and she may be wearing a totally different color. Does that mean she's no longer a registered nurse because she's not wearing white? No, it does not. White is simply the color that the hospital stamps on all of the registered nurses to easily identify them. So too with your brain. You see, outside of your brain, the violet flower is still vibrating at 400 nanometers. But see, you put violet on it in order for you to easily identify that which is on that frequency in the same way the hospital does. Grasp what I'm saying. Like Silas the Wise says, it's a deep thing. Peace, Curtis. Peace, Kimberly. Peace, Jamuta. Peace, Nuo Soul, Alchemy Temple. Geneva, Sandres. Peace. Yes, so I want you to understand that color is a construct of your brain. In the same way that form is a construct of your brain. Now, scientists have told you that the atom is made of 99.9% space. There is as much space between the nucleus of an atom and the rotating electrons around the nucleus as there is from the sun and its nearest planet. Grasp what I just said. It's 99.9% empty space. So what does that mean? That means that what looks so solid ain't quite as solid as it seems. Well, Crystal, why does it look solid then? Why does it look solid, Crystal? Well, because your brain has given it form. Yes, it has. In the same way that if you look at a fan, or a ceiling fan, any kind of fan will really work, but I'm going to go with the ceiling fan. If the fan is not on, you will see 5 separate blades. That's like the electrons, okay? If they weren't moving so fast, you'd be able to see them. But once the blades, once you turn that fan on high, then you don't see 5 separate blades anymore. They're moving so damn fast till it looks like one solid blade, doesn't it? Yes, it does. And if you put your finger up in there, it's going to feel like one solid blade too, won't it? Yes, it will. And so too, in the same way, when you look at your hand, it looks so solid, but that's because the molecules are moving so fast that you can't see the spaces in between them. Okay? And so when you can truly grasp this, then you can understand how magic is possible. You see, anything that we understand, we call it science. But the parts of science that we do not understand, we call them magic. But I want you to understand that magic is simply high science. It is the science that you have yet unfolded and you have yet to understand. That's right. So when you understand that your world is not truly solid, when you understand that everything is spirit and you as the God that you are, you clothe that spirit with either smell, you clothe it with a form, you clothe it with a color, you clothe it with a sound, you clothe it with everything that makes it what it is. And then you give it a name to represent all of those things. When you truly understand that, then you can begin to understand how magic is possible. And then you can believe that you are capable of doing that magic. And when you began to truly believe in yourself, nothing is impossible for you. But you got to truly understand that, you see? And when you really delve into the science of it all and you realize your world is not as solid as you thought and things are not how they actually seemed, then you realize it really is possible. The impossible is indeed very much possible. And then you can begin to do the work, and in turn began to build your own world. Literally. This is why the scriptures say, eye has not seen nor ear hath heard the things that God has prepared for those who love him. Now you got to understand who and what God is first and foremost. If you don't, go back and check some of the other godios. But it is truly and indeed amazing. All of the black part on that bar there is just electricity vibrating at different frequencies. It is considered hell. It's a lake of fire. But because you have a mind who is in the very likeness of God, it is infinite like God. It creates its own images and upholds them up by its own power, just like what you know God to be, because it is created in the image of God and in the likeness as you know God to be. And so your mind freezes a portion of hell over and gives you heaven. And this is why there are 7 heavens. And this is why you got 7 continents and 7 everything else. Because there's 7 levels to this. 7 chakras. But I implore you to continue to unfold. As you unfold more of yourself, you unfold more colors, you will unfold another continent. And you see, you heard about the fall. Didn't you hear about the fall? Yeah, you see, people believe that we are evolving, we are getting better. But I submit to you the idea that there was a time and there was a place within our history in which we had more than what we have now. We had another continent. We lost a continent. And by that, we lost a color. And so we lost a sound, a note. Yeah, we lost a lot of shit. We lost a chakra. We lost a planet. Yes, we did. Now, when I say we lost it, does that mean that it's no longer there? No, it's there. We're just no longer translating it. We no longer have the faculty to pick up on it. You see, your eyes, your ears, your skin, and everything else is like a radio. If you don't turn the radio on, or if you don't have a radio, you won't hear 107.5. But if you do have a radio, then that means you can tune in to that frequency. See, your eyes tune in to 7 different stations, but there was a whole nother station that you used to be able to tune in. The continent was called Atlantis. I don't know what the color was. I don't know. How do you describe color to a blind person? I don't know what the color was. Maybe if I tap into my DNA, I can remember. But there was a whole nother color. There was a whole nother note. You know, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. There was another one. That's right. Yes, there was. There was another chakra. That's right. And we fell and we lost it. But the good news is, the gospel is, nothing can ever truly be lost. I love it. Nothing can ever truly be lost. And so when you open your third eye, you also open yourself up to more of what used to be darkness to you. See, it says that I come to give you life and give it to you more abundantly, so you can freeze over more of hell. You can expand your heaven. You see, you wasn't born in the world. The world was literally born in you. Through the faculty of your mind. Now, again, if you don't believe what I'm saying, well, explain to me how pain pills work. Can anybody do that? Can you explain to me how pain pills work, how anesthesia work, how the hell they can be cutting your stomach from one end to the other end and you be conscious and you don't even feel that shit? Huh? Why? How? Well, I'm going to tell you why. See, because your mind is like a bank. You see, that's why they say, it's my memory bank, because your mind is like a bank. You ever been to the bank before? You know, they got them little tubes that run all the way from the inside of the bank all the way to the drive-through where you pull up at. Yeah. See, what happens is see, there's a tube running from your eyes all the way to your brain, the bank. There's a tube running from your skin, or multiple tubes rather, running from your skin all the way to your brain, the bank. There's tubes running from your ears all the way to your brain, the bank. You see, and so whenever something happens on the outside of you, your skin, your eyes, your ears pick up on those waves. It's like money. See, it's like money. This is why it's called currency. You hear the water terms, currency, frequency, streaming. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, bank, river bank, water terms. Okay, I'm glad you catching that. So anyway, you see, if something happens on the outside, say somebody pinch you. You see, what happens is that's like putting money in that little thing that you put in, and you put it in the little tube, you press the button and it goes swoosh, go right up to the bank. Well, see, what painkillers does is it's like putting a stopper in that tube. Yeah, you might put the message in there and you might press send, but when you take painkillers or anesthesia, it put a blockage between the message and the interpreter of that message, who is the brain. You see, and so your brain does not receive the message of there's some cutting going on down there. So it doesn't even translate that shit into your world. It doesn't exist for you. You understand? So that means that you can cut some shit off that actually does exist, that actually is occurring, and you could not even be perceiving it. Why? Because there's something going on between the receiver of the message, your senses, and your brain. There's a blockage there. So if you understand this, then you can understand how you can cut negative shit out of your life. That don't mean it's not there. That just means you're not even translating that shit into your world. You let it go over there into the dark zone, into that shit that you can't even perceive anymore. Do you understand? You kick it out of your heaven. That means it's not going to be on your dough. It's not going to be on your ray. It's not going to be on your me. It's not going to be on your lie. It's not going to be on none of those. It's going to be over there in the darkness. You decide. You see, you're the God on the throne in your heaven, which is your mind. You heard about the 7 spirits? You know about that rainbow bridge, don't you? It's all talking about you, baby. That's what I want you to understand. It's not talking about nothing but you. What you talking about, Crystal? What's talking about me? Every movie you've ever seen, every mythology you've ever heard, every scripture you've ever read, every song that you listen to, all of it's telling you about how to operate you, and how you, being the God that you are through the agency of your mind, have frozen hell over. Yes, you have. Yeah. Exactly. You turn darkness into light. You clothe spirit with its flesh. You gave it color. You gave it a voice. But I want you to understand that it's all according to frequency. So now, what does that mean, Crystal? That means that though I may not vibrate as high as you, maybe I'm at 475 nanometers. Maybe I'm not vibrating at 700 nanometers. You understand what I'm saying? But does that mean I am different from you? Well, according to the flesh, I'm different from you. Yes. But electricity is electricity. You understand what I'm telling you? That's like when you look out at the rainbow. Is red something different from violet when you look at the rainbow? Are they completely different substances altogether? Are all of those 7 colors, when you look out at a rainbow in the sky, are all of those 7 colors different things? In one sense they are, and in one sense they're not. You perceive them as different, but at the end of the day, the same shit that make the red color is the same shit that make the violet color, is the same shit that makes the green color. So when I say we are one love, that's exactly what the hell I mean. That means though you may look red and I may look green, though you may be a vegan and I may eat meat, though you may be a Christian and I'm an atheist, though you may be whatever you think that you are, you're still God. And God is spirit, and spirit is energy, and energy is manifested as electricity, and you live in an electric universe. And it may manifest as cosmic rays, gamma rays, X-rays. So when I tell you to raise your vibration, what I mean is you don't have to be stuck right there where you are. You could adventure out into the darkness, and the darkness will become light for you because you have a mind. Yes, you do. And you can unfold your mind so that it can pick up on more channels. Yeah, you see, they call it YouTube for a reason, because that's what this world is. It's your tube. Everything that you send out comes back to you. See, this life is like musical chairs, but instead of musical chairs, it's musical egos. That's why you ought to be careful how you treat somebody. You might have to sit in that ego next life. You see, when the music stops and you got to hurry up and grab a chair, you might have to sit in that ego next life. So you be careful how you handle folks. Do unto others as you have them do unto you. But by all means, remember that there's more here than what you can really see. So when you pray, now when I say pray, I don't mean PREY, but in some sense, it's still the same shit. But that's probably a little too deep for y'all. But when you praying, you are indeed praying. Grasp what I said, because you are a predator. You are a predator. You are before time. You are pre-date. You understand? Before they start dating shit, you was here. Predate her. So you got to pray. You understand? It's who you are. Know thyself. So anyway, when you pray, understand that there's more here than what you can see. That there are beings, what they call angels, who live in the spirit, who look in and want to look in and see what the hell is going on. And how do they do that, you say? How would they do that? Well, you see, they have to take on a body according to the realm in which they're in. They have to take on a body according to the realm in which they're in. So you don't realize this, but your aura is operating as a host for multiple beings. But be careful that they're not parasites. I'm going to say that again. Your aura is operating as a host for multiple beings. That's right. What does that mean? That means that even within this world, which is indeed created by your mind, you have clothed other beings with flesh. And they are operating in your world, but they are operating as parasites. Some are not operating as parasites, but there are a lot who are. Grasp what I'm telling you now. It's a deep thing, like Solid say. So what you got to do is you got to kick some beings out of your heaven, out of your frequency, out of your chakras, off of your continent, and send them back into the ocean. What do I mean into the ocean? See, that blackness on that bar is like the ocean. That rainbow is like land. You see, you've turned the ocean and you've turned it solid into land, somewhere where you can have an anchor for your soul, somewhere solid to put your feet. And some of their ass need to go back in the ocean because they are not of you. They are not for you. The kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, but the violent take it by force. The violent take it by force. What does that mean? That means that just as violent as you tried to rid your body of cancer, you've got to expand your thought of who I am. See, you is not just that little body that you think yourself is inhabiting. See, you think that you are that which is on one side of the skin and not on the other. But I am here to show you and elucidate to you that you are that which is on both sides of the skin. And so you have to look at your outside world in just about the same way as you look at your inside world, and begin to care for the planet and care for your universe. That's why it's called universe, because it's your universe. It's not my universe. It's universe. You got to take responsibility for your universe in the same way you would for your body. And if you had cancer and you knew there was a parasitic cancer that was sucking all the nutrients from the healthy cells, then you would aggressively fight the cancer. See, they call it aggressive in the hospital. But scripture call it violent. And all of manifestation is your world, my baby. If you don't believe me, you see, some people don't translate color. See, some people don't put them type of labels on the occupants and the citizens of their kingdom. So they're colorblind. You understand? We have a problem. We love identifying shit by color. For whatever reason, but that's just what we do. Some people have opted out of doing that shit. And so in this life, they perceive themselves as being colorblind. Everything's just like 50 shades of gray. But just because they don't see red don't mean that I don't see red. You understand? So we all live in our own individual worlds. We just all tapping into the same portion in the ocean. Kind of like we all have our radio stations tuned to the same station, or we all are tapping into a certain website, www.earth.com. You understand what I'm saying? But just because we all on www.earth.com don't mean there's not an ocean of other websites that we can tap into. If you only knew and believed and could conceive that there were other stations out there, then you would tap into them. But as long as you believe that there's only 107.5, and you'll never change the station. You understand? That's why it says, be ye not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. What does that mean? That means you can change the station. Yes. How? By your mind. You just got to change your mind. Changing your mind is changing the station. That's what repent means. Look it up. Repent, metanoia in the Hebrew, means to change one's mind, change one's station. And by doing so, you change your frequency. Change your frequency. And so when they say vibrate higher or change your frequency, then understand what they mean. That just don't mean some mansy pansy, just let's all be loving and this and that and the other. No, I'm talking scientifically now. I'm talking about where the rubber meets the road. I'm talking practically now. You can literally change your frequency. So there are people who see beings that you do not see. That don't mean that they lying. That don't mean that they trying to trick you. That don't mean that there's some charlatans. That just means you haven't unfolded yourself enough to pick up on that frequency. That's right. That means your radio station only goes so high. What the radio station FM goes to, 108, I want to say. Does that mean there's no 109, no 110, no 111, no 112, no 113? No, it does not mean that. It only means that your radio only goes to 108. What everything is trying to teach you how to do is how to build a bigger radio. Build a stronger radio. A more sensitive radio that can pick up on all of the radio stations, or at least more of them. So be careful how you handle folks. You understand? When somebody says that they can talk to dead folks, understand that dead folks are simply those who's fallen out of the range that you're able to pick up. You see, nothing can ever be lost. You see, just because grandma is not fitting in that rainbow anymore doesn't mean grandma ain't there. Grandma's still here. Grandma just over in that section that you don't translate anymore. But if you just expand yourself, you can talk to your ancestors. You can talk to grandmother. You can talk to the other parts of yourself. Understand that the rainbow is simply your ego. The black parts are you too, because you are all of that. But you think you're your ego. You think you're your body. You think you're just that rainbow. And that's why that's all you can ever see, because you You only see as you are. Do you understand? So it's very imperative what you identify with. But you're more than your ego. You're more than your body. You're more than your name, baby. You're more than the time and the space in which you are residing right now. You are from time immemorial. And so what I am telling you is expand your knowledge of self. Expand your awareness to go beyond the skin, past the skin, out as far as your eye can see. And when you begin to know yourself, you'll begin to see yourself. You see, the world say you got to see it to believe it. But that's not how it works, baby. See, you got to throw away the world's wisdom. Really how it works is you got to believe it to see it. So you got to already know that you're more, not M-O-R-E, but M-O-O-R. You got to know that you're more and you will be more. Do you understand? Because you're everything that there is. That's all you can be. But you limited yourself to just that little slither of rainbow right there. See, that's ego. You limited yourself. Yes, you did. But you are the infinite God. That means you're the whole bandwidth. You are the radio waves and the gamma rays. What does that mean? That means you're the alpha and you're the omega. Yes, you are. Yes, you are, but you got to know that. You got to know that. You got to turn that God that's outside of you. That means those radio waves, microwaves, infrared, ultraviolet, X-rays, and the gamma rays. The God outside of you has got to become the God inside of you. Do you understand? Does that make sense? That means you expand your rainbow to include the whole bar. That where you expel all of the darkness. You understand? Everything that is possible to be manifested becomes visible to you. And therefore nothing is hidden from the eyes of him whom we have to do with. Yeah. But you got to expand. Now understand, when you expand, you just don't expand up. You expand down and you expand on the sides also like a balloon. You see, when you hear extension, you think about climbing up a ladder. But I want you to rather see a balloon. As you blow a balloon up, it expands on all sides. And so the higher up you go, the further down you go in direct proportion to how high you go. So the taller the tree, the deeper its roots reach down into heaven. So too you. So the better you get, you're going to realize some of the deeper, darker aspects of yourself. That's part of the work, baby. Accept that shit and keep it moving. You see, what happens is you reject a portion of yourself. You come to something you don't like about yourself and you reject that. You understand? And so you can't continue expanding anymore. You see that rainbow right in there in the middle. See, if you reject X-rays, if you reject the X-ray world and the beings who reside therein, then that means your expansion stops right there. But if you can just accept it as what it is, which is yourself, then it becomes inside of you. And then the gamma rays are the only thing outside of you until you accept that as well. You understand? And thereby you gain some more chakras, some more continents, and some more colors. You know, in the Bible, it talks about the sea shall be no more at the end of days. When the great revelation, the great apocalypse, the great uncovering of all that which has been hidden, that means the covered shit is the black part. And the covered shit, the black part is like the ocean, you see. But at the end of days, when all things shall become manifest unto you, and everything that was hidden becomes like light, everything that was invisible becomes manifest, then that means the ocean becomes land. That which is invisible becomes visible, and all of spirit freezes over into matter, and the oceans and seas are no more. I implore to you, the idea of what you think is a sea ain't really a sea at all. That's just how your brain interprets it. But it's not really a sea at all. No, it's not. Exactly. But when you expand yourself, there will be no more seas. It'll be land as far as you could see. When you expand yourself, there will be no more darkness, what you consider darkness in outer space. is what you call it. It's called outer space because the rainbow is what's in inner space. Do you understand what I'm telling you? The rainbow is inner space. So you got to expand yourself so much so till outer space is no longer dark anymore, where you can see the beings that resides on the planets, that you can see everything that is actually out there teeming with life in the same way that the oceans are teeming with life. Though when you just look at it, you just see water. That's all you see. Dive deeper, people. Dive deeper. And so that everything that you call darkness becomes light for you. Because indeed, there's more here than you can see. I want you to try an exercise. I want you to close your eyes and try to look into the darkness behind your eyelids. Now, don't do this when you're looking at the sun or looking at a light, because the light itself will create different phantoms. I'm talking about when you're in complete darkness, close your eyes and look into that darkness. What do you mean look into the darkness? Look into the darkness. I promise you're going to see different faces pop up. You're going to see all kinds of shit. And if you get skilled enough at it, you'll see the whole world that's been hidden right there behind your eyes. But because you blink your eyes so damn fast, you don't never think to look in that darkness when you close your eyes. But I want to tell you, there's something in there. Some of y'all don't like mirrors. You stay away from mirrors. Because you intrinsically know it's still in your DNA that mirrors are portals to other dimensions. Yes, you know Bloody Mary, Candyman, all that shit we used to do when we was little in front of the mirror, cut the light off. Yeah, because you can understand that shit. And the darkness ain't really darkness, my people. Don't never believe that. You wonder why people are afraid of the dark? It's not a coincidence, people. We got to think about it. This is why it's called nightmares. A mare is what? What is a mare? I'm going to leave that with you. But there's a reason why people are afraid of the dark. Now, don't get it twisted now. It can be a blessing to shut off some of that shit from you. Just like I say, some people consider painkillers a blessing. When you in pain and there's some shit you don't want to translate into your world, you like to cut some of that shit off. So that's not to say that's not what we have done. Don't think that might be what the hell we've done. I don't know. I haven't really meditated on that. But I'm pretty sure that's what I will be meditating on next. But did we shut off the rest of ourselves? The parts of ourselves that we don't like? The parts of ourselves that's more or less like boogeymans and shit like that? I don't know. Questions. Whew. Drop me a comment. Tell me what you think. But anyway, Lita Haley, peace, peace. Arnu Dupree, Lacrosse, peace. Jamila, peace. John Vu Sandres, peace. Yes, 7, Jamila. It's 7 everything. Look around you. But as you will find in ancient scriptures, and as you will find if you meditate, you'll find it within yourself that there are more than 7 chakras here. There are more than 7 colors. There are more than 7 notes. There are more than 7 everything. And it all has to do with your mind. This is why a rainbow, you always see when they draw a rainbow, is sitting on top of some clouds, because clouds represent your mind. You see, thinking, anytime that you want to symbolize somebody thinking, they put a cloud and then they put oh, today's a beautiful day inside the cloud to symbolize that's what they're thinking. You see, clouds represent the mind. Jesus will come back riding on the clouds. That's your thoughts. You feel what I'm saying? And so the rainbow sits on the clouds because the rainbow is created by your mind. The heaven is created by your mind. You see what I'm saying? Your mind itself is in the image and likeness of God. It can be considered Jesus. It is that which creates nature. It's the spirit that pervades and animates all of nature, which is you. Feel me? Yeah. Yeah, Lita says, sweet music to my ears, especially after being in nature. Desert portals. Yeah, there's portals all over the place. You see, that's when you really begin to understand that, you understand that America is a chakra. Every continent is a chakra. in and of itself. And so you realize that every chakra has a center in which to go to another chakra. And so you begin to think about Bermuda Triangle and different places, the pyramids, and a lot of synagogues and churches and important businesses and shit to the elite is placed strategically over ley lines and chakras, because they know this information and they keep it from you. You see, they can receive information from other beings who possibly live in the ultraviolet world or the infrared world. You think about the movie that came out called Ultraviolet, where it was the vampire world and this and that and the other, and you begin to tie that into what I am saying now. The entire world is representative and symbolic, and if you begin to look at it that way, then you will know the secrets of the universe. You will know how the universe has manifested and how it was created and how you can manipulate it and how you can become a sorcerer by understanding the source of it all, which is your mind. Yes, that's right, Jamila. Go into the womb of your mind. Exactly. Betty A. Moore Baytops, peace. Peace, sis. Yeah, that's right, Jamila. We got to kick them out. You see what I'm saying? Because they're operating within our aura as fucking parasites. Now, this is something, again, when I was back in the Bible, in the church, I was a regular standard Christian girl. I didn't know nothing about no conspiracies, and I didn't read no other religions. I did what the church told me to do, which is basically keep your head down, mind your business, don't ask no questions. You feel me? But I had that little experience I told you was the 1 minute when all my chakras aligned and my kundalini rose. I didn't know that's what happened at the time, but at that time I received what I considered to be a download, because that's what it felt like. I seen a series of images, and at that time I came to the awareness that there were some beings within the parasite. There were some parasites using me as a host. And I learned about the Illuminati, the elite, and all these motherfuckers who are basically talking behind your back, and the agenda is to keep your ass asleep, and so they can keep inhabiting your heaven, can keep inhabiting the world that you have interpreted. Basically, they like listening to your radio station. They like watching the movie that you interpret from the waves. You understand? They like living in your world. And so, indeed, you are the creator of your own individual world, and they like living in that motherfucker. You understand? And they don't want you to wake up and realize what they're doing, which is basically enslaving you in your own damn world so they can have fun in it, like a damn theme park. But nevertheless, what I'm basically trying to say is I come to the awareness that there were beings inhabiting my aura, which is the entire world, because we are all one substance. But there's some being, which is a part of ourselves that fell, that is inhabiting this world and sucking the life out of it. You feel me? And so we have to begin the work of cleansing. We have to begin the work of expanding ourselves. But if you need help, you understand? A regular human, as a human is born, can't do it by itself. You have to literally expand yourself so you can get in touch with beings who are in the darkness, as you say it, or in the void, or in the spirit, or have gone on, or who have passed out of the rainbow, passed away, died, whatever the fuck you want to call it. You understand? And so you can better do that. Now, moving on from that, I want you to understand what we attribute to gender. How do we come up with gender in this realm that we're in? Look at the bar on the picture above you, the one at the very top, right next to the eye, where you see it's going in a vertical way. That bar there, hold on just a second, y'all. Okay, sorry about that. What was I saying? Let me think. What was I saying? I was finna tell you something. Shit. Well, anyway, let me go to something else then, since I see it. Let me tell you about the nanometers, what the nanometers stand for, okay? Anything that's the color red vibrates slower. That means that there is a wider gap between the trough and the crest. Now, what is a trough and a crest? A trough is a crest, and a crest is like, you ever seen in the hospital where they hook the heart up to the monitor and it goes beep, 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 and it shows the little mountain. We layman's term is the little mountain. When the heart beeps, it makes a mountain on the monitor. Well, the mountain is the crest. The valley right after the mountain is the trough. Okay, but I want you to understand that the mountain is is what is manifested. The trough is what is unmanifested. Or you could say it this way. The mountain shows what is in the conscious world. The valley shows what is in the unconscious world. See, when you vibrate higher, look at this, the bar that I have at the bottom. You'll see right under cosmic rays, you'll see a squiggly line there. But you'll see the mountain and the valley is very close to each other on that squiggly line. That means that what you have subconsciously manifests pretty quick. There's a very short time between what you think and feel and what actually manifests above the surface. Grasp what I'm saying. So when you vibrate lowly, or when you vibrate on a lower frequency, I want you to look all the way to the right at the bottom. You see it says broadcast band. Now look at that squiggly line. I want you to see that the mountain is not that high and the valley ain't really that low. And there's a very, very long period between the valley and the mountain. They're far away from each other. So when you vibrate low, I want you to understand that it takes a very long time to manifest. That means whatever you're thinking and you're feeling might take a while before it goes above the surface. So if you want to be a manifester, you understand everybody's manifesting. It's just how fast are you manifesting? You see, God manifests over like them cosmic rays over there. You see what I'm saying? When you are operating in cosmic rays, that means soon as you think it, soon as you feel it, it manifests. We are not over there right now because we are learning how to operate this thing. You understand? It's a blessing, or I don't like the word blessing, but it's a good thing right now that you don't manifest everything that you think and feel. Why? Because you haven't gotten control of your thoughts and your feelings. You're going to manifest some pretty messed up things. You understand? But once you master yourself, then the universe give you the keys and it allows you to go further up. So that way you can manifest quick. And that is the mercy of God, your higher self, in not giving those keys to you until you've actually learned how to master yourself, how to control your thoughts and control your emotions. When you can do that, then it is a sure thing. It is safe to give you the keys to manifestation, because you won't manifest some shit that you can't unmanifest, or you won't manifest some shit that you didn't really want to manifest because something happened and made you sad for the day. You see what I'm saying? And then you manifest hell in your life because your neighbor had his dog shitting in your yard or something like that, some petty shit. You see what I'm saying? You can't be the driver on the petty bus because all you gonna manifest is petty shit in your life. So once you've showed your higher self that you are able to drive the car instead of the car driving you, then you get the keys. You understand? And that's when manifestation begins to work for you. That's when you think about some shit today and it's at your doorstep tomorrow. That's when you think about your mama and then the phone rang and it's her. That's right. Yeah, just like that. That's when you want something and then it is yours. Until then, well, you vibrating a little bit on the low side. And so it's going to be a while from what's under the surface becomes what's above the surface. So when you hear about the Indians or the indigo people and things like that, I want you to understand that they shit vibrated a little bit higher. And so that means they manifest shit a little bit faster. That means that they were like gods and they were dangerous. And this is why motherfuckers who was on the lower frequency had to kill them off. The same reason why you see humans always killing the mutants in the movies. You see, because when you're on a lower level, you're afraid of those who are on a higher level. We don't know what he could do. You see what I'm saying? So we've got to kill them. And so even as the humans killed the mutants, realize that the indigos, according to the lower vibrating people who didn't even understand how to manifest, they looked at the indigos and the darker hued, you see, the blue black people, they look at them like mutants, and they had to go, you see, because people don't like that which has power over them, that which is somewhat God-like. And what made them God-like is their ability to think and feel some shit and it manifests. You see, they did rain dances and the shit, it rained. That's right. It rained. How did that happen? How did they do that? They cursed you and your ass was cursed. That's right. They did voodoo on you. Yes, they did. Because you could do that when you were God. Because there's a very short time between what you think and what you feel and what manifests in your world, which is all of manifestation. You see what I'm saying? The crest and the troughs are very important to manifestation. So as you raise your vibrations, you raise your ability to manifest. You raise your waiting time. The time between sowing and reaping is shorter. You understand? You plant the seed, wake up in the morning and the flower, and it's turned into a whole tree. Versus on the lower frequencies where you plant the seed, you might have to wait a month, 2 months, 3 months, 10 years before it actually turns into a tree of which its fruits you can eat of. Yeah. It's a deep thing. Exactly, Jamila. We are not born and we cannot die. What is born, however, is the world within you. Is that rainbow. You understand? Because you the whole band, really. You're the whole entire band. That's all of you. Besides God, there is no other here. What you can do is transform a portion of God into you, what you consider your ego. Or transform a portion of the higher self, which is the whole damn thing, because besides God, there is no substance here. You understand? God's the whole band. I'm talking about that band at the bottom. What you can do is take a portion of the higher self, limit it, and turn it into the lower self, which is your world, which is everything that you see, your ego, who you think you are, your manifestations, all of that shit. It's just hell frozen over. But when we say every ego must die, that means from the darkness everything came, and to the darkness everything must return. At some point in time, the rainbow collapses. The heavens are rolled up, as they say. Understand? And it becomes balanced again. Because indeed, when all of the colors are mingled and collapses on itself, or the heavens are rolled up as the scripture says it, then it becomes black. As in the same way, if you take all of these colors and put it together in a palette, it becomes just black. You see what I'm saying? And so we are technically, I know y'all ain't gonna want to hear this part, but it's technically imbalance that causes your world to manifest. When you achieve balance again, you go back into the darkness, because the darkness is balance, which is the reason why you don't perceive the shit. You are imbalanced yourself. You see, all of that blackness that we call death is actually life. That little rainbow right there is kind of like death. You feel what I'm saying? And so you're dead already. I don't know how to make you grasp what I'm saying, but you move from death to life, which is the darkness. You came out of life into death. And then when you die, supposedly, you actually move on into life. And so you hear the old folks saying that you're supposed to cry when a baby is born, and you're supposed to celebrate whenever somebody passes on. You understand? This is why in New Orleans, right down up the road here, they celebrate. You ever seen a New Orleans funeral? You ever seen a New Orleans funeral? You ought to check it out. It's a beautiful thing, and it's beautiful in my sight if you can grasp what I'm saying. So nevertheless, let me read some of these comments. There was something I wanted to tell y'all earlier, and I just can't. Oh, gender. That's what it was. I was going to tell y'all how we determine gender. Now, look at on this bar at the top, the picture at the top. You see the bar over to the right. You see where it says visible light right there. You see it is right there in the middle, right? Right there in the middle, huh? Okay. I want you to know that everything above that, anything that's part of a radio wave, microwave, or infrared, we consider that one gender. And anything that vibrates below that, we considered it another gender. You understand what I'm saying? So one is considered positive and one is considered negative. Even within the frequencies of our world, basically meaning even within the rainbow there, the rainbow of what we have translated into our world. If you're on the green, which all of us technically are in one sense, that's a little deep, but I'm gonna say it anyway for those who can grasp. All of us are technically on the green. We're on Earth. You understand? The heart chakra. We're in the middle. We're technically all on green. Anything above it, anything that's on the ROY, red, orange, yellow, ROY, ROY, get it? Anything that's ROY, we consider it one gender. And anything that's BIV, blue, indigo, violet, we consider it another gender. You understand what I'm saying? And so it's like that, and it goes in smaller and smaller and smaller scales, you see? And so you can look at it from the cosmic perspective. You can look at it from the perspective of the rainbow, which is the manifestation of your world, so on and so forth. But that's how we determine gender, is basically still according to frequency. Everything is according to frequency. Certain sounds, high-pitched sounds, are on one frequency, and low-pitched sounds or another frequency, which is also the red is on one frequency, the violet's on another frequency. And so to shapes correspond to frequencies, which corresponds to colors. You understand what I'm saying? So you could look at a shape and know what frequency it's on. You could look at a color and know what frequency something is on. You could you could hear a sound and know what frequency it's on by its pitch. You feel me? And so it's all about the frequency. Everything is about the frequency. Yes, Arnu, see how deep the rabbit hole goes. The rabbit hole is infinite. It is literally infinite. Yes. See what else I got. David Dinger Almond Ross says facts, spitting fire as usual. Exactly. And that, and even if you look into the symbolism of the dragon and it all ties together. The serpent, you ever wonder why it's the serpent of wisdom? The serpent has been used to symbolize wisdom for all time, really. But you realize somehow the serpent has been translated, again, serp being seven, serpent, 7. You understand why? Because we're talking about the waves here. We're talking about the ocean. We're talking about the nanometers, and the frequency is all about waves. You see, and this is the serpent. But somehow the powers that be have told you the serpent is bad. So anytime we see one, we try to kill it. Even though the serpent is not going to bite you unless you are in its territory. I'd bite your ass too if you come up in my territory. The serpent will run from you, but you will chase it with a fucking shovel and try to chop its head off. Because that's what they told you. They made you fear. But understand what the serpent represents. This is why the Bible says, be wise as the serpents, but harmless as the doves. So you see in every kingdom, and you see there's the animal, there's 7 kingdoms here too. There's the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, all these other kingdoms. You see, in the animal kingdom, the serpent is the Christ. He's the one that everybody tries to kill, even though he actually tries to kill no one. In the plant kingdom, that would be marijuana. Mary Joanna. Mary as in the mother of Christ. Mary Joanna. Everybody wants to talk about how Mary Joanna is bad, even though nobody has ever been killed by marijuana since the beginning of history. Since the history of history. All marijuana has did was help people with glaucoma, anxiety, sleeping disorders, yes, bipolar, personality disorders, and every other damn disease that you could think of. But somehow, if your ass get caught with it, though, you going to jail. Why? Because they always persecute the real Christians, if you know what I'm saying. That's right. So they look at you funny when you own a snake. They look at you funny when you got weed in your back pocket. Yes, they do. Because the true Christians are always persecuted. And when you truly are wise, because see, wisdom on the intellectual level is Christ. It's the shit that if you get caught with it, you the one look like you crazy. Everybody laugh at you. Your family shuns you. You can't get caught with wisdom like getting caught with weed. That's right. They'll throw your ass in hell just like the powers that be will throw your ass in jail for having weed. Yes, your own family will throw you in hell for having wisdom because they have none. They don't understand the power of it. You see, they worship some Jesus, some Christ, but they don't worship the real thing. They don't know what or who Christ is. But there's a Christ in every kingdom. You see, in the cosmic kingdom, it's the sun. That's right. It's the sun that gives life unto the world. I'm not talking about the sun in the sky, though. Don't get it twisted. The real Christ always get persecuted. You see, the sun in the sky gets worshiped. They go meet it early in the morning and bow to it and tell stories about it. That's not the sun I'm talking about. I'm talking about the black sun. That's right. You know how they do the black things of this world. Anything that's that blue black, that vibrates high, that manifests shit. Yeah, that indigo. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the black sun. That's the one they tried to erase from history. Yeah, exactly. Not the yellow one. No, not the light one up there. No, that's not the one I'm talking about. That's not the that's not the true Christ. True Christ is always persecuted, trying to be destroyed, trying to kill it. Trying to get rid of it, wipe it from your memory. We don't want you to decode them motherfuckers. Yeah, we don't want them in our world. Yeah, and so they tried to get rid of the black man. They tried to get rid of the black sun. They tried to get rid of the black void. They tried to get rid of darkness. They told you light was the way to go and darkness is bad. Yeah, exactly. That's the sun. That's the Christ in the cosmic story. And in the animal kingdom, it's the serpent. And in the plant kingdom, it's marijuana. And it goes on and on and on ad infinitum. There's a Christ in every kingdom. Just like there's truth in every religion and there's God in every being. Grasp what I'm saying. Peace, Sandra, Sunshine, Serrano, peace. Divine Maxine, peace. Princess Blue, Blend AG, peace. Oh, y'all welcome. It's my duty to share. You see, because knowledge brings power. Knowledge brings power. The proper application of that knowledge anyway. See, because the knowledge is here, but we have to apply the knowledge. But you got to at least first conceive of the fact that the shit is possible. You have so much problem just convincing people that though it looks solid, it ain't. Though you think it ain't possible, it is. They can't. They stifle themselves. They limit themselves when in reality, you limited yourself to 1% of what's possible for you. Yeah, you've limited yourself, literally. More is possible but you can believe it. And if you can believe it and receive it, this is why the character of Christ, the character of Jesus said, there's more that I want to tell you, but you can't even receive it right now. You can't barely believe the shit I'm telling you, much less all of the other shit that's possible. See, if I told you that, you remember back in the day, the Mario games, when we had our Nintendos, yeah, y'all know Mario? See, back in the day, you used to have to play whatever the creators created for you. Wherever they put the big mushroom, princess, King Koopa, you didn't have no say in where Koopa was, where Princess was, where the jump was, the flower was. No, you just had to play the game however it was handed to you. But I'm here to bring you some good news. I'm here to bring you the gospel. You see, you've unfolded yourself so much now till you have become the creator. There's a game out that's called Mario Movie Maker. And see, what it does is it gives you all of the tools, all of the icons, all of the egos that are present in the Mario game. And you can place them however you want. That's right. You can create your entire game the exact same way the creators used to do. And you can play it equipped with its own monsters, equipped with all of that shit. Go look it up. I can't make it up. Mario Movie Maker. You make your own world. And so I want you to understand that everything outside of you is representative of stuff that's going on inside of you, because they are exactly the same. And so by seeing Mario Movie Maker come up on the scene, where you could do the unthinkable, you can create your own fucking Mario world. Grasp that. If I'd have told you that shit 10, 15 years ago, you'd have thought I was crazy. But you can make your own Mario world and play it. And so too, you're coming to a place in your life where you're going to learn that you can make your own reality and live in it. That's right. You'll have complete control over all of the icons that you see present in your world as it is right now. And you'll be able to strategically place them wherever you see fit. And then you can jump in your creation and you can play it. That's right, because that's what a creator, that's what a God does. So you are expanding your mind to include all of yourself. And you are learning to be the God that you always was, in the same way that the character of Jesus learned to become the God that he was before he limited himself. Yes. And so the things that Jesus did, so-called, you're doing right now. Do you see the parallels between the story and your life? Do you? Family and friends think you're crazy. Religious folks think you a demon or a witch or some shit. Yeah. There's very few people in your life that you can actually communicate with in an effective way that makes you feel like you're actually communicating, where you're not dumbing yourself down. Yeah. Why is that? Foxes have holes, birds have nests, but the Son of Man had nowhere to lay his head. Religious folks got all kind of places where they can rest. Even atheists got places where they can rest. There's nowhere for you to rest. There's nobody to understand your mind. There's no friends that can get on your level. Yeah. Grass. You got to know who you are. Tony. Peace, Tony. Yeah, exactly. Chakras 8 through 15. There's more than that. It's infinite. It's infinite. There's an infinite amount of colors, an infinite amount of shapes, an infinite amount of realities, an infinite amount of possibilities. You understand? And so when you find things like the Mandela effect happening and shit like that, what you realize is that according to your choices, you literally pick your reality. You go from one reality to the other reality. That doesn't mean that, let me explain this better. There's a you on violet, there's a you on indigo, there's a you on green, yellow, the orange world, the red world. There's a you on all of these worlds in all of these different dimensions, even dimensions that you cannot see, because the infrared world is a world in and of itself with its own little rainbow, and there's a you on every last one of those rungs of the ladder there too. And so as your choices, as your desires and thoughts come to you, you switch through, you like bobble down the rainbow, depending on how you are on the inside. So your world and the world that you occupy is completely up to you. Now, when I say you bobble down the rainbow, I want you to understand that the rainbow does not exist separate to you. Okay? You are just translating it that way, if that makes any sense. Yeah. John Taylor, peace. Mondrian and Paul Nail, peace. John Taylor says the main portals are in the pyramids. Yes, John, it is. The pyramids were used for initiations anciently. The way they are designed to harness and amplify energy. Energy is simply information. Energy is simply all of that black shit on this here screen. You see what I'm saying? All of these rays that we don't actually translate, the pyramids were used to harness those. You understand? And so we don't use the pyramids anymore, and that's indicative to knowing that within you that there are portions of yourself that you can use to harness the spirit. Harness the other rays. Harness the outside world. Harness those who have passed away or passed out of your perception. You understand? And so we can learn to power up the pyramids again. Get that shit back running again. We'll get Atlantis again. That continent. We'll get another sound, another note on the keyboard. We'll have to throw away the old keyboard and make a new one. You understand? We get so much more. Exactly. Let's see what else I got. John Taylor says salt crystals and sage are purifiers. Exactly. You're talking about cleaning your aura, cleaning your auric field. Now, let me explain something else to you guys. Now, if you don't believe you have an aura, your aura is seen outside of you. It's called the aurora borealis. The aurora borealis is your aura displaying to you externally. It's the thing that the Christmas tree represents. Now, your aura is the aurora borealis. This is why in the fairy tale, I think it's Sleeping Beauty, her name's Aurora. It's either Sleeping Beauty, which one is it? Or Snow White, one of the two. I think it's Sleeping Beauty though. Her name is Aurora. That's her real name. Because she symbolized something. And see, and even with the Snow White, there's the 7 dwarves that's always trying to wake her up. Sleepy, dopey, dummy, whatever their names is. Either way it go, it's like the 7 cardinal deadly sins is what it is. You understand what I'm saying? And you are Snow White. You are that which is pure. The pure white light of God that is sleeping. Yeah, by eating this false ass apple. The knowledge of good and evil, which is basically a differentiation between the frequencies. So you've lost the knowledge that all of that shit is you, that it's all one. You understand? That there's really no difference between violet and red in terms of its essence. You understand? In terms of its essence. In the same way, there's no difference between the RN and the LPN. Just because you wearing a white uniform and I'm wearing a blue uniform and she wearing a purple uniform don't mean anybody any better than anybody here. You understand? We just got different jobs. You feel me? I'm a human inside my uniform. You are human inside your uniform. She a human inside her uniform. I don't give a fuck what letters you got behind your name. You understand what I'm telling you? And so shit get fucked up when you get it twisted and you start thinking you something special because you wearing a white uniform or you wearing a blue uniform, or you start thinking you ain't shit because you wearing the green uniform, or you a CNA, or you this and you a housekeeper. Oh, I ain't as important as the RN. The hell you not. The hell you not. And so in the same way, that's like to say the high vibrating people is more important than the low vibrating people. The hell they not. Everybody got a job here to do. You understand what I'm telling you? Everything is important here. Housekeeping is just as important as the doctor. That's right. Because everybody be sick around this motherfucker if nobody was around here cleaning up all these germs and shit. You feel me? Everybody's important. Everybody got a job to do. So stop looking your nose down on low vibrational people. That's just as dumb as the doctor looking down on the housekeeper. Your ass might get in a wreck next week, doc. And the only person that might save you passing on that street might be the housekeeper. Might save your ass. You understand what I'm saying? So you be careful how you handle folks. That's all I'm saying. It's the same with frequency. Chandra says, I'm a woman. I take responsibility for my vortex and my portal so they can get the fuck out of my queendom. Facts, Sandra. Facts. That's right. It's all about responsibility. When you realize who you are, who you truly are. If you are throwing responsibility anywhere outside of yourself, then that lets me know that you do not know who you are and what you're capable of and what you're actually doing. That means you haven't woke up to your godhood, that you don't see the connection between what you think and what you feel and what you do and your own life. You don't see it. And so you still sleep. Because see, when you wake up to the fact that everything is actually clothed by your own mind. And you can cut off certain things just like painkillers cut off pain. And anesthesia cut off any type of feeling. You understand? So you can cut shit out of your life. Literally, you just won't translate it anymore. It's there, but it won't be in your world. Yes, that's right, Terry. Level up. You hold the keys from your damn self, Jamila say. Exactly, Jamila. You hold the key from your damn self. Shit, you got to open your mind, bro. That's why I say in order to inherit the kingdom of heaven, you must become as a little child. Why is that? Because you tell a child anything and they just about believe it. There's no limitations in a child's mind. They believe anything is possible because they haven't been taught limitations yet. Now, we send them to school and we call ourselves educating them. But what we're really doing is we're putting caps and chains and shit on their mind. And we're teaching them limitation. You see what I'm saying? But you got to become like a little child, which means you got to throw off the chains. You got to take away the limited thinking that you have and begin to think like a child again, in that you know that anything is literally possible. Literally. You see? And then and only then can you begin to do the impossible. You got to believe it first. And so let's not rape and rob our little children's minds and cause all kind of work for them. Because every time you put on a shackle, you put a cap, you put a stifle on their mind, it's just wasting time. Goddammit, it's going to take them more time to unshackle themselves, unchain themselves to get back to where they was before you raped and robbed their mind as a parent. And that's what the government, that's what the powers that be have taught you to do. Instead of nurturing their mind, showing them how to wield their power, they have taught you to do the opposite and told you that it was education. They taught you how to stifle your child and tell them that that's not possible. Stop believing in that shit. That's kids. Only kids believe that. You see what I'm saying? That's not real. This is not real. Let me tell you something. There is no such thing as not real. Everything is real. Now, whether you can see it or not, that's a whole different story. But everything is possible. Everything is real. And everything that you can possibly think of or conceive of already exists somewhere. Or you wouldn't be able to think of it or conceive it. Grasp what I just said. That's another word that came to me during my little major download mind 1 minute experience, that if you can conceive it, if it can be conceived, perceived, imagined, or thought of, it already exists somewhere. Because you think your imagination and your thought is not a real place. You don't think it really, it's all in my mind, like your mind isn't a real place. It's a real place with people in it. You call them desires and feelings is what you call them, but they're real beings, real occupants with a life of their own. If you don't believe it, talk to somebody whose thoughts torture them day and night. Talk to somebody whose feelings are out of control, like out of control children in a house, if you don't think these are real beings and have life and consciousness of their own. You're a creator of them, but they are their own individuality in the same way that you have a creator, but you are your own individuality as an ego. Same way. That's right, Jamila. As above, as so below, as within, so without. So you can't really change the without changing the within, because the without is literally closed and created by the within. I'm going to say that again. You cannot change what is without. Now, when I say without, I mean outside of yourself, on the other side of your skin. You can't change what's on the outside of your skin unless you change what's on the inside of your skin first. Because what's inside of your skin clothes what's outside of your skin in flesh. Everything is only waves and vibrations. You clothe it with flesh. You clothe it with a gender. You clothe it with a color. You clothe it with a smell. You clothe it with a sound, because sight, smell, taste, touch, and all of your senses only exist inside of your mind. Yes. Exactly. Arzul Dantor, peace. Taquabias Longino, peace. I haven't seen you in a while, Taquabias. Where you been? Yes, that's right, Betty. Roy G. Biv. That's how they taught me in school. You see, they give you, and that's the most insidious way, is to give you half truths mixed with lies. You see, if they give you half truths that sound true enough, but the lie part is the shit that messes you up. It's like baking a cake. They give you all the ingredients, but they throw some extra shit in there. Now you go put the ingredients. Like, okay, this sound like all the right ingredients to the cake. So you begin to bake it. But see, it's the I don't know. Let's say they tell you to throw ashes in there. The ashes is the mistruth. It just messed up the whole damn cake. You see what I'm saying? So no matter how many true ingredients you got, the one false ingredients messes up the finished product. And so too in school and church and all these other places, they give you most of the truth, but they throw a little falsehood in because they know all it takes is one bad apple to spoil the whole bunch. Yeah. So anyway, Roy G. Biv is red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. It's a little acronym to help you remember the rainbow colors. But Roy is a gender and Biv is a gender. But G, or green, or the earth, or the heart chakra is that which is in the middle. And it contains both genders. This is why here on this earth, you have both genders within you. If you don't understand what I mean by that, go back and check out the gAudio entitled, Did Anyone Ever Tell You That You're a Hermaphrodite? But you have both genders because you live on earth, which is why everything is colored green here. You understand what I'm saying? Man, it has a certain frequency. Check the frequency of earth, and I guarantee you it vibrates between 580 and 475 nanometers because it's all connected. It's all connected, and it's all science. There is no separation between religion and science if you can properly interpret religion. There is no separation between science and anything, really, because science is your world. And magic is only science that you don't understand. Religion is only science that you don't understand. You understand? You start to get in biology, get in astrology, because astrology and biology are really studies of the same thing. It's just one is a macro version and one is a micro version. You see, you can look at a solar system and understand how atoms work. One has in our so-called solar system, there's an electric sun with magnetic planets circling it. In an atom, there's a magnetic nucleus in the middle, taking the place of the sun, but there's electric electrons circling. So it's just an inversion. The macro is an inversion of the micro and vice versa, like a mirror image. What is up becomes down, and what is down becomes up. What is left becomes right, and what is right becomes left. Huh? Sandra says, this is so much confirmation. For the past 2 days on my cell phone, the radio came on at 102 hertz. I never use my radio on my cell. Wow. Yep. Synchronicity, Sandra. Everything is everything. Exactly, Arnu. Yes, exactly, Yanni. Serpent, Septimus, the seven. That's what they're talking about. The holy serpent. You ever heard of that? The holy serpent. Even in the Egyptian days, you see the pharaohs, they have that serpent coming out of their headdress there. A lot of people say that symbolizes the third eye. And indeed it does. Indeed it does. But understand the symbolism of the serpent. This is why in the scripture it says that Moses put the serpent on the cross and elevated it. And so the children of Israel who were bit by serpents could look at the serpent and be healed. You understand? And it's the same thing with you. If you see the septenary here, if you understand the septenary here, then you can be healed. You feel what I'm saying? You can expand yourself. You can, it just... Shit, knowledge is power. Yeah, Shaba. Yeshua. Peace, Yeshua. Yeah, blue, black, Yeshua. Corey Reed says, the soul. Exactly, Corey. Exactly. And so, when you think about the sole of your foot is equivalent to the soul, S-O-L, as in the sun, which is also equivalent to your soul, S-O-U-L. See, spelling is a spell, tricking you into believing you saying some different shit, but you're not. When you say S-O-U-L and S-O-L, as in the sun in the sky, and the sun that you don't, the soul in the sky, and the soul that they tell you not to lose.
Understand, vibrationally, you're saying the same shit. You only think you're saying something different because they taught you spelling. So instead of hearing the word, you see the word. And you see two different words, but that's flesh, baby. See, the spelling is the flesh of the thing. The vibration is its essence. And the vibration of SOL and SOUL is exactly the same. So when you look out at the sun in the sky, and I say look out, I want you to know that you're really looking in. You're really looking in. And so you don't want to lose your soul. You see, it's the black hole sun that causes manifestation, but it is that soul in the sky that sprays the manifestation out. It sprays the flesh on the spirit. Let's put it that way. Okay? The black hole sun gives the spirit of the thing. Okay? Gives the energy itself. The sun that you see sprays the flesh on that spirit. Okay? And so what does it profit the man to gain the whole world but lose his soul? You see, that's what creates the rainbow for you. Understand? Hang on. But they're all the same thing vibrationally. So whenever you saying certain words, understand that, like I said, when you say I'm going to pray on you, you're actually saying exactly this. You're saying PREY and PRAY. They mean exactly the same. So you go up to the altar and you allow people to pray on you, and because you think you've been taught that it's a difference between PREY and PRAY. Yeah, in the flesh it is, but not in the spirit, boo-boo. In the spirit, which is the energy, which is the vibration, you're saying exactly the same thing. So be mindful when you have people pray on you. Better to pray for yourself. That's just my thoughts. You do what you want. But you ain't finna pray on me. I'm just telling you now. I could pray for myself. I'm a predator, so I predate all this shit. I pray for myself. Thank you very much. Thank you, no thank you. You know, sorry, not sorry. Yeah. Let me check the rest of these comments out. Facts. Randall Patterson. Peace, Randall. Randall says confirmations everywhere. And then Yanni says they do say every galaxy has a black hole. Because it does. Every chakra is created like a disc. They're like disc. This is the disc you see behind Jesus's head. You see, they tell you that the disc or the rays you see behind Jesus's head symbolize the sun and the rays of the sun. Ho, ho, ho. No, no, no. In some instances, in some iconographs that I've seen, it does. But for the most part, I want you to understand that the disc behind Jesus' head symbolizes chakras. You understand? Because all of the chakras got like a different type of ray that extends past it. You see? And so in between the chakra, there is a hole through which the Kundalini serpent rises. You see? And so you got to go through the black hole to extend a chakra. That's why the black hole is the portal. If you want to go to a chakra above or below, you got to get there through the black hole. It is a portal. This is the magnetic north where all compasses point. This is why Santa Claus, quote unquote, is said to be residing in the north. In the north is from where all the gifts come, all of the present. This is where the elves or your different selves are up there making gifts for your ass. You understand what I'm telling you? This is where all of your presents, not presents, present, presence as in the presence of God. This is where all of your presents are located. Your selves are busy at work. Santa. Damn, I love this shit. It really is beautiful whenever you really begin to see the connection. You realize you live in a magical world. The world is more magical than you thought. And then you can become Wonder Woman and start wondering about your world again. And you'll be surprised what you discover if you only began to look at it with new eyes, with the eyes of a child. A child discovers everything. It picks up leaves and it looks at the leaves. What is the leaves? What is it made of? What does it taste like? What does it smell like? He wants to know every fucking thing about the leaf. And the only time it stops wondering about the leaf is when it go ask your ass and you tell them, oh, well, that's a leaf and fell from a tree, and you give it all the information. It stops wondering. You understand? So just try not to give, if you're raising children, especially. Now, for most of us adults, it's too late. We already done learned too much, so-called learned too much shit. With your children, try not to stifle their curiosity. You see, because questions lead you on a quest. And if you have no quest, then you have no adventures and life become boring. So don't take the quest away from your children by taking away the question, by giving them some pseudo-ass answer that somebody gave you. Allow them to ask their DNA, to ask the universe. Allow them to unfold within themselves what their inner being tells them that this leaf is. Because indeed, you don't fucking know what the leaf is. No, you don't. You have no idea what the leaf is. You don't know what the sun is. You don't know what trees really are. You can't see that they're neurons. You can't see that the sun is actually projecting this reality out for you. You know what I'm saying? You can't see that the moon is actually receiving all of the energy that is passing out of this vibration, out of this rainbow, that all of the spirits that pass away through the moon, and they pass through the moon as through a portal. You understand? Like all of this, you don't know what you don't know. So do yourself a favor and don't stifle your children's mind. Don't stifle your children's quest for answers. You understand? By giving them some pseudo false light. Let them develop the light within. And sometimes you got to leave them in darkness in order for that to happen. Just like if you look at the bottom of the ocean, those animals are vastly in darkness. The light of the sun never reached them. But because they reside in that darkness, they learn to build a light within their own selves. You understand? And so I'm telling you, don't always give your child light. Don't always give them the answers. Sometimes you need to leave them in that darkness until the light bubbles up from the inside of them. You understand? Yeah, let them formulate their own light. And they'll always live in a wonderful, magical world. And they'll never get bored with their life. Let them explore themselves in peace. You don't know who they are. You barely know who you are. Let them explore themselves, because indeed this entire world is them. So let them explore. Let them know thyself by exploring thyself without you telling them all this false ass information about themselves that you don't really know yourself. You taking information that the enemy has given you about yourself and you've applied it to your life. Well, I implore you to begin to take the information that the true self, the higher self, the self that loves you and wants what's best for you, gave to you, and begin to apply it to your life. If you don't have any information from the higher self, then I implore you to stop whatever research you are doing and get in touch with your higher self. And that'll be all the research you need. Because you found the source of all. Ground zero. It's just like the, y'all know the division sign? Y'all know what the division sign look like, huh? You see it's got a line and it's got a dot above and a dot below. The symbols of you are all around you. You know what the division sign stand for? It stand for exactly what it says. Everything has a name according to its purpose. And so division, die means two, like dice, two. Division, the vision of two. You understand? And this is why there's a plane. That's that line. And there's a sun above it and a sun beneath it, or a dot, or period, whatever the hell you call it in math. But if you look at it esoterically, mystically, what it is the earth plane, and there's a sun above. That's the one that's spraying out the forms and the shapes and the colors and all that other shit. And then there's a sun beneath, or subconscious. There's a subconscious sun, or beneath the plane. That's called the hidden black hole sun. And then there is the yellow sun in the sky. Now, why does salvation come through the cross? You see, the cross is also the plus sign and the multiplication sign. You see, the X men is the cross men, because the X is the cross slightly tilted. Kind of like, well, I'm not going to say that. But the X is the cross slightly tilted. How do we get the cross? I'm going to tell you how you get the cross. By taking the division sign. If you look at the division sign, you take the sun on the inside and you connect it to the sun on the outside. Or you take the black hole sun and you connect it to the yellow one in the sky. Or you take the subconscious sun and you connect it to the conscious sun. And then you'll have a cross. There's very little difference between a plus sign and a division sign, other than the fact that the two dots, the one on the top and the one on the bottom, are no longer dots. They're connected. It's just one line. And so there's no more division. There's no more two vision. It's one vision. You understand? So you got to connect the two. You got to connect that which is in you with that which is outside of you. That is the cross. Otherwise, you just got division. You got division. You think that you are something separate from everything that is outside of you. And I done told you that there's no difference between that which is on one side of the skin and on that which is on the other. You just think it because you got division. But division is not unity. Division is the tree of knowledge of good and evil. You see, you divide the good and the evil. You divide the subconscious from the conscious. You divide that which is in from that which is without. But we're moving into unity conscious. That's the cross that saves you. That's connecting the sun on the inside to the sun on the outside. The sun of manifestation to the sun of projection. Exactly. So even within your math symbols, the gospel of you is being preached. Even in your math symbols, the gospel of you is being preached. That's how wonderful you are. That's how special what you got going on is. Everything. Don't they tell you that in the scripture, that at the end, after the apocalypse, that every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess? That's what it means. When you can truly see, then you see the symbols everywhere throughout your entire life. Let's see. Okay, Yanni said it was Sleeping Beauty, whose name is Aurora. Even with, like I've said before, even with the symbolism of the Christmas tree and things like that, if you look at it, under every Christmas tree there's a skirt, and the traditional skirting under the Christmas tree is red with a white trimming, kind of like Santa Claus's outfit is. Santa Claus outfit is red, but on the edge of the sleeves is white, on the edge of the pants is white. Well, so too with the skirting under the Christmas tree. The inner part is red, and the outer edge is a white fluffy shit, right? Well, I want you to see that as a symbolic of the earth plane. The earth plane is in the same way, but that white outer ridge is what they call the South Pole. It don't look like what they told you it looked like, a ball and all this other shit. It is a ball, but it's in a flat plane inside the ball, like a Pokeball, if you know what I mean. So anyway, the white outer edge of the Christmas tree skirt represents the South Pole, or the ice barrier to the plane. But then you notice that there's a hole right in the middle of the skirt, right? Through which you put the Christmas tree in there. Okay. And then the Christmas tree itself represents the aurora borealis lights. And the aurora borealis lights, or your aura, is green. Okay. And so we put shiny balls on the Christmas tree. You see, that is the planets. Yeah, exactly. That's the planets. And then you see we put a star, a shiny bright ass star at the very top of the Christmas tree, right above the hole. Okay. And so that shiny star at the top of the Christmas tree is the Polaris star, or the North Star that never moves. That star that is right above the North Pole, or the portal out and into this realm. You understand? And so Jesus is the way, the truth, and the light. And so the wise men know where Jesus is born at by following the brightest star in the sky, the Polaris, because it is right over Jesus's manger, which is where all compasses point. The North Pole. The magnetic North Pole, Mount Meru, the land of the gods, whatever you want to call it. Shambhala, it's been called many different names from many different times, where the world tree used to be. Where the world tree or the tree of life used to be before they cut it down. There are no real trees anymore. What you call mountains is just tree stumps. Okay? That's why we talk about the 666. See, everything is carbon based, but there was a time where everything was silicone based. So you will find silicone mountains, which is really old tree stumps. Grasp what I'm saying. There's no real trees anymore. We got shrubs that we call trees, but there's no real trees because the trees were so damn big. It almost looked like, what's that movie, Avatar, where you could literally, it brings a whole new meaning to tree house. It's more like tree mansion. Yeah. But that's gone now. Anyway, that was a fall. That was a, it went down. Let's just put it that way. It went down. But the beauty of it is nothing is ever lost. Nothing is ever truly lost that can't be regained. And so if you've lost your soul, whatever it is you think you've lost, it can be regained. It just requires some work. You got to labor for that rest, like the scriptures say. Let's see. Yep, that's 2 truths, 1 lie. Game is a system of operations for them. Exactly. And they want to keep you on the board. It's like checkers or chess. Is always the Roy team and the Biv team, or the white team and the black team. You see what I'm saying? Even on chess, you got the white side with all its little players and egos, bishop, the pawn, that's all egos. You see, it's the white team and then it's the black team. Or you could look at it like it's the Roy team, the red, orange, yellow. That's one set of frequencies. And then the Biv team, the blue, indigo, violet. Or how we've translated in this world, race wars. Because each frequency is a different race. But at the bottom of each race is the same shit. Is God. You see what I'm saying? So whether you are indigo, whether you a red man, one of the red races, whether you a white man who happens to be all colors depending on what's going on in life. You see what I'm saying? You get embarrassed, you red. You die, you gray. You cold, you blue. You feel what I'm saying? Like white people kind of kind of bobble over the rainbow. Nevertheless, the point is that no matter what race or frequency you are, you're still God. You're still made of the same substance as the black folks or the white folks or the Indian folks or the Chinese folks. I don't give a damn what you look like on the outside. You're still God. Still energy. You feel me? And so when you become racist, then that's saying I don't fuck with the red frequency because I'm blue. Or I don't fuck with yellow because I'm green. You see what I'm saying? And that's essentially, or they're saying that the blue is good, but the red is not. That's like saying that the doctor is better than the housekeeper. And then you try to kill off all the housekeepers. You think they're useless. You see what I'm saying? And so you notice that throughout what we call history, which really isn't history, but I'm not going there. What they call history, you see the one group try to kill off the other group, not realizing that all groups are absolutely necessary and you're only killing your goddamn self. Wondering why you're suffering. You feel what I'm saying? That's called racism. And so even within religion, when the Christians don't like the Buddhists and they tell the Buddhists they're going to hell, and the Buddhists tell the Muslims they're going to hell. You see what I'm saying? Every frequency think it's got the answer and thinking that it's the way, it's the truth, and the life. You feel what I'm saying? But in reality, there's God in all the frequencies. Meaning, violet is made of energy just like red is. You see what I'm saying? So in the same way, even within the Christian religion and the Buddhist religion, it's God. There's truth in all of them. Shit. So I would implore you to stop the frequency racism, stop the race racism, stop the religious racism, stop the, you see, that's called judgment is what it's called. When you start differentiating between all of these different things, it's called judgment. Okay? And so, do what the mandate tells you and judge not lest you be judged. Feel me? Shit. Facts. Do what you required to do, which is love each other, try to understand the world that you living in and keep it moving. Yeah, exactly. Our new quantum physics. Yeah, basically all branches of science. Just delve head deep into that shit. Corey Reeves, peace. Corey says, excellent information. Thank you, Corey. I try to give y'all information that is useful, that you can see in a visual way, because we are visual creatures. We have our memories are in pictures. You know, we even see our words in pictures. We don't even hear the vibrations as much as seeing the word itself. Again, why they taught us how to read, so they can make us believe that we're saying different shit. But anyway, the point is that we are visual creatures. And so I try to give you visuals so that you can actually see what's going on. You can literally see it, because you see what we, how do they say that? What we see, we kind of remember. What we hear, we barely remember. And what we do, we almost always remember. So I can't do things with you because we're spread out over the globe, but at least I can let you hear it and see it, and that'll reinforce it. And you can actually use it and become the God that you always have been, and you just forgot that you were, and you just need to wake the fuck up. That's all. That's all I'm doing. I'm the L arm clock. I'm the arm of L. I'm the L arm clock. Coming to wake your ass up. Because by waking you up, I'm waking me up. Until all of the cells of my body will be woke up. And then my whole body will be full of light. You feel me? Who you are. And who I am for you. And so when we all are full of light, when all of the darkness has been dispelled, and when all of the ocean is gone, then we will have experienced complete heaven on earth. We just got a foretaste now. Just a little. 7 little colors, 7 little continents, 7 little chakras. That's just a foretaste. That's first fruits grasp. Oh, but there's more. So much more. Ooh, that's good. That's good, Corey Reeves. Corey Reeves says the brow represents the twin serpents with the pineal, which is the pineapple, in the middle. Ooh, good stuff, Corey Reeves. And just for those who don't know, you know, the pineal gland is actually mentioned in scripture. There's a portion where Jacob, who's later named Israel, who he says, I think he fell asleep and had a dream. And he says a dream, but understand that this world is a dream. Roll, roll, roll your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. So Jacob had a dream, and he says he sees a ladder going up into heaven, and the angels, which are messengers of God, going up and down the ladder. Understand that ladder is your vertebrae. You have 33 vertebrae. This is why the Freemasons have 33 degrees. This is why Jesus died when he was 33 years old. You understand what I'm saying? And the nerves are the messengers. They send signals from the phenomenal vibrational world. Okay? The signal from that world of waves gets transmitted through the ladder, which is your nerves. Okay? The angels is your nerves carrying the message up the ladder, Jacob's ladder, to your brain so it can create the world that you live in. Okay? Heaven. But anyway, Jacob there, he says, I shall call this place Peniel, because here I seen the face of God. It's even in the scripture. It's all analogy. The scripture itself tells you it's all analogy. It's all parable. Basically, it's like if I tell you, I say you're a pain in my ass. Do I really mean that you're a literal pain residing in my ass? No. It's an analogy. It's a metaphor to help you understand a deeper truth about how you making me feel right now. Understand? And so too, all of the scriptures are written in the same way, and it's all telling you about you. That's the gospel. That's the good news. It's all about you. You're a God if you can just only release, let go, and believe it. It requires so much faith. Yeah. Ooh, Yanni says here for it. Spells, grammar, glamour, grimoire. Ooh, that's good. Yeah, you named everything here. You might not remember it, but you literally named everything here. The same way you gave everything its color, everything its shape, everything its form, you also gave everything its name. And if you can figure out why you named it the way you named it, then you can understand its purpose. Everything is named according to its purpose. Everything. Just like I said, the division sign, division. Because the language corresponds to the frequencies, which corresponds to the shapes, which corresponds to the notes, which correspond. It's all fucking connected. Lamika Owens, peace. Lamika says, I've always associated that disc with chakras during my readings. Exactly. And the whole earth plane is a chakra, and it's shaped just like a disc. There's a hole in the middle called the black hole sun, where all compasses point north, where the Polaris resides right over it. And so the sun does, not only does it in actuality, okay, get this. I said that the sun actually sprays out the world, like it projects out the world. But in reality, the sun is more like the lens in a DVD player that reads the disc. Grasp what I'm saying? It reads the disc. Your mind projects it, but the sun actually reads the disc, which is the earth plane. Okay? But there's a sun underneath the disc. Even if you think about a DVD player, you understand? And so the signals get sent up to your brain, and then there's a picture that displays on the screen, which is your mind. Okay? But the picture on the screen is just a creation of the screen itself. And so too, this world that you see is a creation of the mind itself from electrochemical information that you have received from the disc, who is yourself. Again. That may be a little deep, but yeah. Yanni says, good thing my mom always calls me childish. Jamuta Harris, peace. Jamuta says, yes, that's what I allow my daughter to do. Figure it out. Exactly. You see, we get in formation to form outwards. You inform to form out. You inform to form out. And so when we figure it out, I want you to understand that as a God, that is you expressing or manifesting shit. You see what I'm saying? That's what God did. By God, I mean your higher self. It figured it out. So it took a portion of itself out of itself. It figured it out. So even within our language, you get informed so you can form outwards or manifest. There are lots deep within the ocean. Exactly. Yanni says the world tree, that's mentioned in Asgard. Also, Shambhala was mentioned in the Doctor Strange movie. Yes, and these are all things that are mentioned within ancient scriptures. Ancient scriptures. Scriptures of the Egypt, all of them. The Egypt scriptures, the Phoenician scriptures, the Indian scriptures, the Olmec scriptures, which are the Indian scriptures, but, all of the scriptures, Christian scriptures, Jewish scriptures, they all speak about this center place, this place in the midst, the garden in the midst, the one that your ass was kicked out of. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. Exactly, Yoni, or red versus blue. It's always black versus white or red versus blue, which is essentially one end of the spectrum warring against the other end of the spectrum. He wrestled with a man on a mountain. Wake up all your cells, Sandra. Exactly, Sandra. And see, that's the thing about giving. What you give out, you get. And when you understand that the world is a manifestation of your mind, then whatever you put out in the world, you are getting back. Because it is a manifestation of your very own mind. So as you raise the vibrations of the people around you, you are indeed raising yourself. You are enlightening your very own cells. You see, so from my perspective, I'm me and y'all are all cells in my body. From your perspective, you are you and I'm a cell in your body. And we're both right. We're both right. Yes. Yeah, exactly, Yanni. He put a rock in that place and he says, I will name this place Peniel. This is what Peter represents. Peter is translated to rock. And Jesus is attributed to saying in the scriptures, on this rock I shall build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. It's the pineal gland, which allows you to have to manifest these 7 colors and 7 chakras and 7 continents and all the shit that you perceive as life and manifestation. It's builded upon your pineal gland. You see? upon this rock. And that's why I say, you know, a lot of people stop going to church when they realize they are the church. Just saying. No offense, just saying. You stop going to church when you realize you are the church. You stop paying tithes and offering on the table at the church built with wood and nails when you realize that God does not dwell in temples made with hands. And you begin to give back your 10%, which is the 10% of your brain that you use so that the universe or the higher self, the rest of yourself, can expand your thinking capabilities until you become like Lucy in the movie, because it is Lucifer, the light bearer. Do you understand? You become like Lucy. You realize that you were here before anything was ever made. You chilling with the monkeys before humans ever popped up on the scene. You understand? You realize before time was, I was. I am. There is no was. You are he who was, he who is, and he who is to come. Or she. Either way. You're actually both. You're he, she. To be technical. You are he, she who was. That's your past life. He, she who is. That's your now life. And he, she who is to come. That's your next life. Because there's no such thing as death. So you always will be he who was, he who is, and he who is to come. You are the Ancient of Days. Yes, you are. You were not born in the world was born in you. You've given that world a particular name, and whatever you think your name is, that's the name of this world, actually. And so whenever you step outside of this setup, just like you can go to your DVD collection and you can decide what movie you want to watch, so too in the cosmic game, you see your life is stored in the clouds. Your life is stored in the clouds, and you can upload it at any point in time that you want to. Once you leave out of this movie, once they say cut, once the cord is cut, once the golden strand that ties your spirit to this particular body is cut, once they say cut, then that means you're back into the cosmic world, and this life becomes a movie that you get stored in the clouds, and you can upload it at any time you want, and to experience all of this shit all over again. Who's to say that this is a movie that you're experiencing right now? What is a movie but just a series of snapshots, a series of pictures displayed at such a fast rate they seem like it's one continuous movement when it is not. And so too, now, that's all now is. The only thing that exists is now. The past is simply a noun that has gone. The future is simply a noun that hasn't come yet. And it's all just snapshots of time. Your life is a movie stored in the clouds, because you are hidden, wrapped up in Christ. Hidden, like the DVD is hidden inside the case. In him, you live, move, and have your being. Yanni says y'all should check out the animated movie The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. It's claymation. I will have to check that out, Yanni. Terry Harris, peace. In it, there's the story of Adam and Eve. Interesting how they did it. There's also a plane where the demiurge lives, where he toys with his creations. So bizarre. Sounds like it's packed full of information, Yanni. The great grimoire of the Bible. Exactly. Sandra? Greetings, Terry. Greetings. Peace. Crystal clear. I am that I am, Lamika Owen says, and Sandra says, exactly. Hey, sis. That's my sister, y'all. Shandrika Shanette. That's my real blood sister. Hey, sis. I'll be over there in a minute. I'm fixing to leave as soon as I get off of here. But anyway, I want to play a little song for y'all before I go. I think I've pretty much read all of my comments here. Some of them I can't see. I'm so sorry if y'all dropped questions or comments on here and I didn't call it out or read it. I'm sorry. If I don't catch them soon enough, then they just kind of go up there and I can't scroll back and see them. So, if so, I'll try to go back and relook at your comments and try to answer those if I have time. But if I didn't, I'm so sorry about that, you guys. But I want to play a little song for you before I go, just a little snippet of it, not much. For whatever reason, I don't know, it has everything to do with this gAudio. So just check this out, okay? Let's see. Here we go. And you know, before I click this song on, if you take nothing from this, and just know that there's more to your world. And the impossible. Open your mind. Become as a little child. As I release this frequency, speak to me. That was my first time hearing the whole song. Like, honestly. I went on Pandora. I asked the Great Spirit for a song for this gaudio. And I got that song right there. And I just heard the song. I heard like 45 seconds of it. I heard say frequency, frequency. I clicked it on, right? I just heard it for the first time with y'all. If that wasn't the most beautiful song I've heard in a long time, my name ain't Crystal. Boom. That was so beautiful. Let me see who that was. That was a song called Frequency by India Neat put it on here. I can't say her name. JHENE space AIKO. Song called Frequency. Check it out. Listen to it. Start your morning with it so you can remember who you are and where you at and what the mission is. I love y'all. Y'all stay in peace, stay in love, and stay in light.